I'm already led, baby.
Okay.
I'm cool.
5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Is That Canon? We are the podcast. We talk about the
Stuff.
animated and live action versions of comic books that come out at this stage on a weekly basis.
Oh my god. Well, trying.
How's everybody doing? We have a
I
big
am,
week.
I am not too bad at all. Just back from France and already stressed out in work again.
Stressed out at work again. Jesus Christ. It's a shame because
Did you go to cinema in France then?
yeah, actually.
No, I basically, luckily enough, where I was staying, basically had no internet because it was really in the middle of the countryside. So I just literally got off the plane and within a few hours was in the cinema watching.
Really? So you just swept in.
Yeah. It's just like, don't talk to me. No one say nothing.
Don't talk to me. Don't even look in my general direction. Everyone sit down and shut up. Love it. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy for you.
But I like.
How's your week been? Sorry, Brian.
No, fine, go on.
Completely.
No, we don't want to hear about your French vacation, okay? There. I'm okay. I'm a bit of a headache today, so I've been taking it easy. I've been playing Outlast 2 last night, and
Taking it easy.
Taking it easy. As you can imagine, I'm not one for horror games, but yeah, it was interesting because people were like, "This is gonna be fun." I was like, "For who?" Exactly. So at least I'm convinced there's a fetish out there for people to be in fear. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh,
So
of course.
bit of a headache today, but all right.
Look at PewDiePie, for God's sake.
He went to Japan.
He did. He moved to Japan, but
He
yeah, the
moved to
biggest
Japan.
YouTuber of all time made his name by being scared online.
I don't want to be that person either. I just want to be me. You know, she does exactly what she says at the tin.
Before I cut you off, Brian, how was your trip to France?
Oh, it's great. Thank you for asking.
Sorry about that.
No problem. It was really good. It was in a beautiful part of the country, in the southwest towards the Spain end of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, we went to
Mediterranean side.
Yeah.
Warm.
Love it.
We went out towards a little island, well, not little, it's 30 kilometers wide, called Ile de Ré. Just beautiful. It's like Hoth on steroids, would be the way I describe
Hoth on steroids.
it. Beautiful.
And people
beautiful
out there
place.
probably don't even know what Hoth looks like. Google it. But that on steroids. Or you can Google
Yeah.
where you went. It's,
Beautiful part of the world.
I love it.
But good to be back.
God, I'm glad. We
Good.
missed you.
Good-ish to be back.
Yeah, good-ish to be back. Yeah. I'm missing the weather because it was lashing when I got back. It was Ireland.
Well, yeah, it does
Well,
exactly
you
what it
know.
says in the tin, I suppose.
Apart from the occasional torrential downpour, the weather has been pretty good up here.
I think it kind of waited for me to come home to turn bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Typical.
So I was thinking, and I want to run it by you, so I'll do it live. We should sectionize this podcast more.
Sectionizing. God, I had me on my wit's end there. I was like, what's going
So
on?
I was thinking we start off like just chatting about I think we want to talk about like we watched or did or played, and then we could do the news and then we could do our final review or whatever. But I was thinking of names for these sections, and I was thinking, how are we going to do this? And I was thinking canon puns. So we call the first section the scatter shot.
Okay.
The scatter shot. Okay, right, I'm down. Okay, I'm open. Pen and paper, let's go.
I was just thinking, it's canon puns. That's the word needs more puns.
Cannon puns. Oh my god, if I could.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was thinking for the main event we could call it the howitzer, but I haven't got someone for the news yet.
Or if you want to go a different a different angle with it, you could have like for stuff that we've done this week. Is that fanon?
Oh, is that fanning? I like
Yeah.
Oh,
that.
that's probably better.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's already said it itself. Done.
So it's just stuff we
It's,
like that we did
it's
this
wrote
week.
down.
Might not necessarily be comic-y, but you know.
Yeah,
Reviews,
but
is that nanin, and reviews, is that rannin?
Is that random? It's so random, Canon. That's good. Like that. Anyone else that's watching the show right now, please leave a comment below. We'd love your input. I think it'd be hilarious.
Absolutely. Any suggestions? I just thought it'd be a fun thing to
If you're
run
talking
by
about
us.
someone's granny superheroes, is that Nanan?
You know how we inevitably get onto politics and right-wing shite? That could be, is that Bannon?
Is that Bannon?
Oh no! Not that.
Oh my god. I love it.
Give me one workshop this, I'm sure.
Fuck. Oh god.
The reason I wanted to talk about this is I went to see a film in the cinema this week that wasn't Doctor Strange. I went twice this week to the cinema.
You went twice?
I did. I went to
I
see
was
The
gonna do
Unbearable
that.
Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, I want to see that. Oh, stop.
Do please do. It is such
I'm
experience.
expecting that. I'm expecting this overwhelming experience. Just don't say any more. I just want to have that. Just give me that sensation.
Great. It's no other actor in the world could be done about it.
I'm so glad to hear this. This is good. This is amazing news. Amazing
Pedro
news.
Pascal is so fun in it.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is taking the piss out of all the best parts of his career all at
Oh
once. It is
my
a fantastic
god.
watch.
I can't imagine. I can't. Oh, face off. Oh, somebody hold me. Can't. Love it. He's such an amazing actor. If you haven't admired Nick Cage, have you not admired Nick Cage on Wish.com?
Oh,
There's
the weird Nick Cage stuff. One of the things you can
Tracksuits
buy
and
on
pillows of like.
one of the things you can buy from Wish.com is in the film.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
One of those weird pieces of Nick Cage merch.
That's a plug and a half.
It's great. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Right. Okay.
I think he's one of the most interesting actors that's ever lived. He can make an unwatchable film absolutely interesting in ways that very few actors can.
He did an AMA on Reddit recently, and people were asking him loads of questions about, the varying quality of films that, he's in, as you're saying, some absolute stinkers. And
Back in our day, we had straight to DVD,
Yeah, straight to DVD jobs, straight to Netflix.
Yeah, well, we had, technically in our day it was VHS, but like, we act like we're...
Yeah, we don't mention that. But he was there like, listen, it doesn't matter what I'm in, I put in 120%.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
He does not phone it in. A film I might have mentioned before, it was a couple of years old, Mom and Dad, highly recommend it. The film would be terrible without him. It's just a cheesy comedy horror about a radio wave that makes parents want to kill their children.
As you do.
Cage is a parent.
I need to have a look at this.
It's a good film. It's a real fun watch. Buy that stuff that's legal over where you are, and good watch.
All right. Thanks.
Absolutely, I highly recommend it.
I'm feeling into this. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to what have I done this week?
Is that weird on?
I restarted. We were watching, myself and my girlfriend were watching American Horror Story on Netflix. And
oh man, so good.
It's reappeared on Disney Plus. All 10 series of it.
Damn.
10 seasons.
Yeah.
Show.
10 seasons.
And if you want to
I've
talk
seen
about
one episode.
stories, locking into stories, these guys are great on it. Hands down.
I've gotten to the point where characters from season 1 and 2 are showing up in seasons 5 or 6 and stuff like that.
And little things, you'd be like, suddenly they're like an ancestor or part of a Wiccan or part of whatever, and it all ties together all the time. It's amazing. Even Lady Gaga's phenomenal in it.
She's brilliant.
She is.
I've seen 2 episodes, and it's the first 2 episodes of the Hotel series.
And even your one, Kathy Bates is
Hotel's
amazing
great.
in it. She is hands down amazing in it. The Coven one has to be one of my favorites. So
Hotel for me so far, I love Coven, but Hotel is just...
They're all
I think it's 'cause
good. Well, except for I wasn't mad about Roanoke, I guess, but
Roanoke is a weaker one, and the one I'm on at the moment is one of the weaker ones, to be honest. There's a Trump series.
Oh, stick with it. Stick with it. I won't ruin it for you, but stick with it. It's very good twist at the end, because I was like, oh, snap.
There's a Trump series.
Well, American Horror Story.
It's it's kind of like Trumpy, culty, kind of radically fied this kind of group or whatever.
Keep saying real things.
It's really, you know what? You'll eventually watch it in a few years' time, knowing you. So, if you have time to sit between your 1000th episode or whatever, if you can squeeze into that, are you caught? You're caught up.
I'm on episode 1016, and then I was like, well, there's still more manga left, so I caught up on the manga and I'm on chapter 1046 of the manga.
You know what I did catch up and finish off? Picard.
What did you think? Because I finished that too.
Okay, but it has Ado.
I've
He doesn't
seen
even, I don't
it.
even know.
I've heard.
You never.
mixed things
Okay, he
with
doesn't
season
care,
two.
so I don't care, so is in effect. Okay.
I'll walk away.
Okay, so what I thought was, I felt it was a bit at the end. I like the Borg, how they are. Okay? Resistance is definitely futile, and fighting is certainly irrelevant. But this cannot be the way. I'm not happy with this. Okay? Now, I like the idea of what they're doing with the Borg in some aspects of it, right? The identify the loneliness and all that other shit. Fine. It started off good out the gate with the whole fucking, like, the change in the
first
timeline.
episode.
Good out the
Strange.
gate, but didn't hit too well for me towards the end with the whole, like, fair enough, the Borg needed help. Spoiler.
For me, it just, like, it started out, do you know, I just want Star Trek at this point. And I saw the first episode of Strange New Worlds, and
Haven't
that's
seen
just
it
Star
yet.
Trek. It's just Star Trek.
It's good.
Really Star Trek-ass Star Trek.
Right,
Like,
I'm gonna have
if you
to
want to
look
watch some Star Trek, watch that. They
Yes.
have discussions about Prime Directive. They go to a planet they've never been to before. They do things.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
cool.
Yeah, I was watching Picard, and the first episode was really Star Trekky. Oh, they're investigating a phenomenon, and then
Yeah.
okay, we're taking them
And
out of everything to do with Star Trek, and now there's people with guns shooting at them, and
And it was weird. And it felt like they pulled all the good ideas that they had in Next Generation, right? You know, the Adam Sung story, the Khan story, the timeline skip story that we've seen plenty of times, even in Deep Space Nine. There were so many things that they pulled off the shelf that I felt it was one too many. Even Guinan got pulled off the shelf very hard.
yeah.
And she was supposed to meet Picard in the 1920s and all this other shit, but I don't know what happened there with that plot hole, right? There was just so many things pulled off the shelf that I began to feel bored, and then I started twisting more the narrative of what they'd done before. So that's why I was really pissed off at the end that the one thing that I enjoyed was the Borg. They never fucked with the Borg like this until now.
Yeah.
Don't- yeah.
Well, it's like me and my friends used to actually call when you take like a really scary villain
Yeah.
and overuse them and start making them weaker and like less cool, borging. We used to
That-
call that borging, but this is like real borging.
This is what I would have went with, right? If I had to like sit in the chair, I would have went 7 and 9 for replacing the Queen to make it
That would
more
have been a great
interesting.
idea.
Because then she would have had the humanity of learning to be accepted during that time,
Yeah.
and then fuck it, I'll be Queen. Because she already had like access to the box.
Yeah. What a great sacrifice for that character. I'm going to become the Borg Queen. That's a good
It would have
idea.
been good, and then
Yeah.
they could have built up the alliance that way. I feel like they could have done the alliance that way. Have her be the Borg. Have her instead of Girardi being this. Oh, I'm so alone and I killed everyone that I like, and she was just feels like this wet, pathetic character by the end of it. And I was like, why does she have to be the Borg? Because internally, this badass queen bitch who went around fucking doing her will like a fucking monarch. Okay, let's be honest. And you just took that away. You took that enemy away. You killed off an enemy of Star Trek, and that's what I was so upset with. But if they were willing to go that direction, you should have took 7 and 9 and developed her into a fucking queen. And how awesome would that be?
So have they absolutely ruined the Borg?
They ruined it.
They've basically changed the entire concept of what the Borg are now.
Yeah, it's more like,
Okay,
hey,
good.
we don't worry about the weak people, you know. We will take them in because we don't see them as inferior anymore. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? The whole point of you being the Borg was you were this one entity, one hive mind. You sought to conquer the Delta Quadrant. You saw out the it just didn't make any sense towards it that she was like, we're gonna help everyone because we're gonna share everything together. And I'm like, so what am I gonna do?
so-
Like, someone wants to commit suicide, you're gonna assimilate them if they don't want to fucking end their life? Is that how it's gonna work now? Like, that was so many questions in my head.
The Borg basically joined the Federation at the end of Series 2 of Picard.
And they're now more like a commune than...
Wet blanket.
I don't... Like,
I know, it's
I'm
okay.
I'm all
whole
for
new-
communists and things, but you don't turn something like that into a communist.
You know, it was just really, really weird. It was just really, really odd. It wasn't even about like, oh god, it was the introduction that we had as a Borg, right? We all knew that they were just technologically advanced. They were scary. They took data and made him into a human from an android. Like, they could do shit. You know what I mean? And then this, and I was like, man, if I had the hands of the story and the pen and the paper, it would have been 7 and 9 to be the queen. That would have been far more interesting. If you wanted to go for that arc, it would have been so much interesting if you said, look, 7 and 9 just lived as a human for this brief time with no implants, like getting treated as everyone else, and she understands the humanity because she was so outside for so long, only to be on the inside in this weird fucking phenomenon. It would have made more sense, I think. She looked good in the first season as a Borg queen, and she was like transport shit, and I was like, yes.
Ultimately, as long as Robert Orci is in charge of Star Trek, we're going to constantly have discussions like this. Whenever this is the guy who also wrote the first few Transformers films. For some reason, he keeps getting the job in Hollywood.
Ah, like Stephen Moffat.
Stephen Moffat, yeah.
Yeah, at least Stephen Moffat can write a good episode of TV. Right? I know loads of people have plenty of problems with him. But
Actually,
he
to be fair,
wrote
I do not have a problem with him as a writer. I have a problem with him as a show lead. He cannot stick a landing to save himself.
That's true. Like, he has great episodes, but like the overall arcs of the series tend to suck. And we're like, so I guess now if you want to talk about fan stuff, like, we can go nuts and talk about Doctor Who.
Yeah. You Doctor
RTD's
Who.
coming back. Yeah. Shooty Gatwa, isn't that his name? Shooty Gatwa.
Yeah.
Shooty Gatwa, yeah.
I've heard he's incredible.
Saw Sex Education. It's great. He's really good in it. Really funny. Loads of pathos. Perfect.
I really wanted like two special David Tennant thing, just as a palate cleanser before we go back into new Doctor Who. But
might still get that.
Never know.
Yeah,
Well, but the way TV's going now.
I think a David Tennant palate cleanser would do a lot of good.
Yeah, I would think that would be great. Just to see, you can do 2 episodes where just stuff he was up to, or he temporarily, because they've given the Doctor unlimited to regenerations now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched since that episode. That episode really broke me. That end of season 2.
She is a great Doctor.
She's great.
But is it a case that she's not coming back anymore?
How can
No, she's
anyone make something with Bradley Walsh that I don't like? I love Bradley Walsh, but the Chibnall stuff is so boring.
Just the writing on Doctor Who's been really poor the last year or two. It's like, I'm someone who's literally watched Doctor Who since I was 4, and
The puff fucking perm and this fucking scarf.
my first Doctor was the first one.
Cordell
that I-
pants.
It would have been Peter Davison.
Oh yeah?
Right?
Yeah,
I love Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker. I watched during the years that people say were the worst ever for Doctor Who, and I love them. But now I'm getting bored, which isn't a good look.
And that is the problem. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's not even bad. It's just dull.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it a case of like there's just so many moments of talking in it? There's not like what's pushing
There's no
the story forward? No direction?
There's no direction to it. I don't like. I mean, like.
Did you feel like it's a copy and paste of the same shit?
It's like it's like they don't know where they're going. Like, I mean, you were talking about the Moffat era there and how he never sticks a landing. Well, at the start of the Moffat era, you were like, who's that character? What are they doing?
Yeah. Stephen Moffat writes the best season openers you'll ever see.
Yeah. Like, who killed him? There was loads of things like this, like, and with RTD, it was like, what is Bad Wolf? You know, there was things to hang your hat on. With this, it's they're like, doctors doing things. Now they're going out there and they're going to do the other things.
No.
And they're not even interesting or original things they're going to do.
Yeah, their concepts aren't high fantasy concepts or high sci-fi concepts the way it used to be. They're very there's a hotel and the people who run a hotel are robots and they might kill everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, so they just interject into situations.
Yeah.
So they're not really pushing it. They just kind of go, oh, we're here now, and now we have to solve this kind of mentality.
Like there hasn't been a moment in the Chibnall era like when David Tennant met Satan
That is true.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
forgot that. He 10 met Satan.
That's one of my favorite things in the whole Doctor Who canon. Is like at
actual
one point
Satan. Yeah.
he met Satan, and it's
And he
just
won.
you have no idea
He
what
won.
it is. Like, you also leave going, I don't know what happened, and they're like, is that the thing that Satan's based off, or was it actually Satan? Because it didn't seem to have much of a mind. It seemed more like a feral beast at times, and it's just a really like there's bits like that. Doctor Who got to do episodes that are so weird and interesting, and there hasn't been one of them.
Yeah, and that's when it's at its best. I also like again. You talk about Moffat. I loved like they got back to the old school crotchety old man doctor. Someone's talking about Pertwee in the chat, like the real old school doctors. Although Pertwee was what they would have called a dandy at that time because
A dandy, yeah.
A dandy, yes.
God.
Heavily inspired by the James Bond films of the time. He used lots of gadgets and he had a Who-mobile and the original
Who,
Days
yeah.
of Unit. Yeah, the Who-mobile.
Whatever
Weird
sell
thing.
toys, huh?
Yeah, but I love Doctor Who. I'm happy for this change now, and hopefully, like RTD, from what I've been, Russell T Davies has changed since his last time. Because when he was about to go, I was dying for a change because he was starting to rinse the same storylines with, oh, I'm the lonely god and I can do what I want and there's no repercussions. But oh, look, here comes the repercussions. He did that over and over, and I was happy when he went. But
Yeah.
I'm sure with like a decade of space, he'll come back with like whatever mad idea he's had in the meantime. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it. So
What I would
that
love
is-
is I would love for him to get Stephen Moffat to write singular episodes
yeah.
that have a start point and an end point, and there's no continuity messing with them at all. Just
Because
get him to
those
write-
two are the dream team when they work like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Blink, The Lonely Child, all of they're
Lonely
so
Child.
good.
I mean,
That
people
is
still do
that is the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen in my life at that time.
And
God.
the
Have you ever seen
weird
it? I think there's a clip,
repetition about bananas. Remember that? That was Moffat's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen it from back in the day. There's a clip of people becoming gas mask people through transformation, and it's the most terrifying thing in the world.
They actually have like the gas mask grafted to their face.
Yeah.
That's all they say.
Yeah.
Are you
I
my
would-
mummy?
Yeah.
You're my mummy. Yeah. Because that's the thing. It's just this is a weird situation that he gets into, and giving away anything about that episode if you've never seen it, it's like a absolute masterpiece of sci-fi in my opinion.
Oh, they had. Oh, it's so good when it's good, and like
Yeah.
RTD himself. What's the name of that? You know, the one where they're all stuck in a little train on a planet and they can hear something on the ceiling.
Midnight. My
Oh, that is-
favorite episode.
Yeah, probably one of the best hours of television I have ever watched. And he's trying to order the other people around on the train, like, why should we listen to you? And they're all getting mad, paranoid, and things are getting worse and worse, and they can just hear this knocking on the outside. Oh, like, it's just so good.
Yeah, they're in a transport going around a star in a place that nothing should be allowed to exist. There's so much radiation and heat that nothing should be able to survive.
That's
And there's
what's
someone
right.
outside knocking. And you can't see it and you never see it. Ah,
That's it. They never tell you what it was.
it's one of the greatest bottle episodes of TV ever made.
We could literally
Yeah.
just talk about the. I'm
You
starting the Doctor
could.
Who
You
podcast.
could. You could. You
Sorry,
could.
that thing. So we have two films to talk about this week. All right, well,
First
sorry,
of all, my
we have a
question for
finale
you,
and a film.
gents, okay, is talking about Doctor Strange. I know we're going to be talking about that very shortly. But in terms of how packed was your cinema, I would like to know what was just your cinema capacity. Was anyone making noise? Tell me how you got on.
I was
What time did you watch it at?
Okay, I went at 2:30 on a Thursday.
Okay.
I'd say the cinema was probably 40% filled.
All right.
There was almost no crowd reaction because it's Letterkenny and there isn't ever.
What about kids?
There was a few, but most of them were in school. I like going at that time because the people that are there are either taking off work or are unemployed.
Yeah. that sounds okay. What about you, Brian?
I saw it at, I think it was roughly 5 o'clock on the Saturday. I thought this would be the quiet time because kids tend to go early, families tend to go early, serious adults go later. I was kind of right. It was about 70% full. No, it is
Okay.
like in the local cinema where I go, that is the quietest time. I know it is.
Okay.
So I would say it was jammers later because I went to see The Northman a couple of weeks ago. Another great film.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
to see that soon.
It's really good. It's real trippy. It's like Conan on drugs, basically. So if that sounds awesome, go see
I'm
it.
down. I'm down.
William Dafoe as like a mystic.
Yeah.
That
Crazy.
that director seems to treat Willem Dafoe like his muse.
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, really good. Well, anyway, there was like 3 people in that at 5 o'clock. Now it's obviously kids shouldn't be at that. Although I would argue young kids should not be at Doctor Strange when we get to talk to him, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh man, I had the look of the Irish, let me tell you, right? I went at 11 a.m. as you know, because out of nowhere I was like, why is it showing on the 4th of May in my cinema? And I approached my man and I was like, here, have a look upon tablet and figure out. And he was like, 11 a.m. next day. I was like, grand, because it's Liberation Day on the 5th in this country, in the Netherlands, in case anyone knows. And no word of lie, maybe about 20 of us, all of us were
Brilliant.
all sat into the center of the biggest cinema, right? All of us, and it was like 3 kids, well, kids you'd say, probably about 15 years old, at least. They're quite tall here in the Dutch, so it was quite hard
We
to
all
tell.
had pretty good cinema experiences.
But
Though.
my God, not a single peep. As soon as stuff started getting quiet, everybody shut the hell up, and I was like, this is my moment. It's amazing. That's why I needed to ask, because every time you talk about this, I'm always having a shit experience.
Yeah, and this is the first good cinema experience I've had since the pandemic. I
Same.
have to say.
I've only had one crowd getting really excited and loud for a moment, ever in the cinema.
Was it during
And
this
was
one?
It was when Andrew Garfield showed up in Spider-Man.
Everyone was super quiet and super good in my cinema.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
same
In that
here.
one, there was no noise.
Until kids
so
started talking towards
are
the end, that's
we-
why I shut up.
Are we going to start with Moon Knight or we start with Doctor Strange?
I
What
think
do
we should
you
start
want,
with Moon Knight.
And then
I-
leave the best to last. And then that way everyone can brace
Well,
itself.
I don't know if I'm doing my best. That last episode of Moonlight kicked ass.
Yeah, there's an argument there. Like that was.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
stood up and started shouting at the TV. It was phenomenal. It was, I was like, Brian! Okay,
Before,
fine.
I want to say one thing. One of my biggest pet peeves with the end of Marvel stuff is people in the air shooting light at each other. And the fact that this ended with just people battering each other made me so happy.
Even the gods were just battering each other.
Yeah.
Everybody got a hiding. It was great.
Uh,
Who wants
Okay.
to go first?
I don't know if I'm ready
I
for an
think Moon
argument.
Knight's my favorite Marvel show.
Hey, no, you go first. Yeah, go on.
I think it's my favorite Marvel show. It's so cool. Like, and I got what I wanted. I left not knowing what's actually happening
I hear
yeah.
in a
you.
concrete
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. You were satisfied with the meal, but you're still hungry for a little bit more?
Yeah.
Because Brian said we're all well fed this year, aren't we?
We are.
Her hippo god costume is so cool. Metal wings is
Oh,
always going
man.
to be cool.
Like, I've read a few reviews online. People were kind of giving out about the whole costume thing. I was like, oh, listen, I think she
Go
is.
and shite.
Go and leap, right? Go and
She
leap.
looked amazing.
She looked bang on. I think she was on point to what this character is going to be like going forward, and I thought it was a fantastic way of introducing like an Egyptian superhero. It was fucking deadly. Loved every part of it. She looked amazing, head to toe.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know originally she the costume was supposed to evoke Isis, but they were like
Really?
That
can't
would make sense.
can't really use because Isis is like a
And
winged
you being an
yeah,
odd, yeah.
yeah.
So the scarab.
Yeah, but someone at some point was there like ISIS. Yeah. So, but I actually think that works because Tower is an awesome character.
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah. The idea of her being back really makes me happy. Like, you know,
fantastic introduction as well to getting into that bubbly humor, which I love about it. Oh God, like okay, so where do we really start it? Okay, let's go. Keep going. Tell us more what you thought of this last
I
episode,
think
and
it
then
has
me and
some
Brian will
of the
start
best
out.
fight choreography of anything they've done in Marvel yet. There's a moment in that last episode where he gets tangled up with the cape and switches costume to get untangled, and I thought that was so good.
It was such a beautiful moment of like
Yeah.
Harold's like, I got you now, and he was like, I'll just switch over and then switch back, and then just the whole like pull back, a little bit Batman-esque, I will say.
Giving them a really cool reason to switch costumes mid-fight. I love that.
There's another really awesome moment in the fight, like a real like show don't tell storyline moment where he's Steven and he's doing really well in the fight and he like fixes his suit like, yeah, I'm so deadly, and that's the moment where he gets to, like someone flings him through a wall because he's getting overconfident now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I really love that little moment.
It's,
that really worked.
that little chuffed.
Yeah.
It gives
But-
that fight so much personality.
Love the baton one. That was just my. Oh, I was so happy seeing it for one. But it was just beautifully coordinated. Like you could see, like there was proper coordination and effort put into this whole thing. It was just. It was
Them
actually
being in
way better
total
fight
sync
scene than
is-
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's some of the best like hand-to-hand fight choreography, not counting Shang-Chi, because Shang-Chi's pretty great at that.
Pretty good, but then we're talking about TV series, so that's a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Iron Fist.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
R.I.P.
go back and watch some of the earlier episodes of Iron Fist, apparently I've forgotten his name. Finn.
Yes.
Yeah, there was problems with him apparently not doing the appropriate amount of practice. And if you actually watch the amount of, you never see his face, it's body doubles whenever anything's good. And
Oh,
they give
no.
everything to, what's her name? She's brilliant. Playing, oh my
Why?
brain, useless today.
I'm
Daughters
not
of
good
the
with names. She's not that. Something
Not
Who-
Misty Knight.
No, yeah.
Colleen Wing. Colleen Wing. Her actor's, her name is escaping me. The character's Colleen Wing.
Miss Knight.
Misty Knight.
Misty
is
Knight.
another
Oh
character.
God,
Misty Knight,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait a second. Okay, that's why.
Another
I actually really like the Misty Knight in the Netflix universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd port her.
Yeah.
Porter. I would definitely port her. Oh, that sounded really. Oh.
We're talking about putting her into the Marvel
Marvel Cinematic
CU,
Universe.
okay? Just everybody calm down. I'm looking after this side of the arena. Okay, gotchas.
Word
Gotchas.
choices.
Carry
Anyway.
on, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'm after interfering and Aiden again, so shut up.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you were saying something about how she was better than the
Porting.
thin guy.
Better than.
You were saying your man
Porting.
Finn was not doing enough practice, and then
Yeah.
the actress did Colleen Wing.
This does all the heavy lifting, actually, in the fight scenes. I
Yeah.
would really feel they gave her extra, in fact, because she is an accomplished stunt
Like
fighter.
for her, yeah.
She's in the last Matrix as well, and she does a lot
Exactly.
of heavy lifting in that. Yeah.
She's very good in that as well.
Annoyed I've forgotten her name.
Yeah, I don't think that version of Danny Rand is ever going to be seen again.
Maybe
No,
it's a joke.
I don't think so. I think it's all done
Finn
and
Jones.
dusted for that.
What?
Finn Jones is his name, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 Anyway,
It's annoying. It's annoying. I'm a huge Iron Fist
push
fan as a comic character. Like that Invincible Iron Fist comics one of the best comics ever made.
Not anymore, baby.
Well, the comic's still one of the best comics.
Well, the
ever made, in
comics,
my
yeah.
opinion.
I would just...
But God, they're that's so bad. Everything.
mm,
So Moonlight.
Okay, well, what about the ending and such? So you talk about the fighting, you talk about other stuff, you know? What do you think about the whole, like, asylum scenario that we found ourselves in?
I still want to know. Like I still, it's real hard to work out what exactly was going on in that whole asylum.
I
thing
still
in my head.
I still have a theory. I'm still like...
Oh, give me a theory.
I'm
'cause
still... No, I don't want to listen to Brian. I don't want to hear his side before he starts screaming. Because I was screaming in my house, watching this, stood up, looked at him, looked at the TV and said, well, you know, I said a lot of stuff. Anyway, go on, Brian.
okay. It's my go, is it?
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm holding it all in so I can let it out. Come
All
on.
right. Well, firstly, I really loved it. Thought it was really good. I'm in love with WandaVision, so I'm not sure if I'd say this is the best one they've done.
Oh, does she know you're
well-
cheating?
No, this is it. Well, But funnily,
Sorry.
Funnily,
Did I have
the
to
reason
help like her fucking like chiropractor or whoever the fuck?
Yeah, she does a lot of bending, that woman.
Lot of bending.
That sounded bad. So
I'll allow it.
I actually love both of them for very similar reasons. I love the mystery box thing, where you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Falcon Winter Soldier's fun.
But it's
The
exactly
overseas
what we're
Navy.
getting. But for the old WandaVision, it's all the psychology and stuff, and then Moon Knight just about did that for you.
Yeah. It hit exactly the right. Both of them hit the right spot for that kind of stuff for me. I really love that we got a bit of Jake. What I didn't like, there is one thing that really pissed me off in the last episode was, you know what Chekhov's gun is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right at the start of the episode, in the previously on Moon Knight, they show the shaking sarcophagus. So you go, oh, so Jake Lockley's in this episode. That ruined that for me, because the second I saw that, I knew we were getting Jake.
Yeah.
I think we knew. I think you always
We
knew.
knew everybody was waiting for Jake. Because everybody was talking about 3 personalities, and then they released the comics, so we all knew like what we were in for.
But like that was like, you're in this episode, you were definitely getting Jake.
I get that.
Telling
I get that.
do you know what I mean? Like they were
Yeah.
at the start of the episode without it actually being part of the episode. That really annoyed me. It's not really the episode's fault. That's whoever was doing editing on that.
It's one of those things. Yeah, if you see a recap of a thing that has been in a previous thing, you know it's going to relate
what's
to something in
coming
the
up,
episode.
like,
yeah.
Oh, I try and avoid that as much as I can, but it's inevitable.
Other than that, I thought it was really, really good. I loved Arthur Harrow. I love the fact that you don't really know what's going on. Like, I think what they're saying is the hospital is a construct in his mind. That's
In Harrow's mind.
In Conchu's mind, I think.
Yeah. It's some kind of otherworldly place. But the hospital at the end, I think, is just a hospital. And in fact, I think it's a hospital that Harrow's cult controls. Because Jake is hardcore, but he doesn't generally kill for no reason. And he's killed several people to get Harrow. Like, Khonshu doesn't accept killing for no reason. He doesn't mind killing evil people, but they have to have in this world, Khonshu doesn't accept killing for no reason. That's the entire thing.
He's made it very clear.
Yeah. Like, he nearly died.
I will not accept Minority Report.
Yeah. I'm not down with Minority Report, or Civil War 2. I'm just not accepting it. Like, no.
It's so weird. It's so weird that they literally did Civil War 2 in the Midnight.
Yeah, because they want to do Civil War was such a massive hit for them.
Yeah,
they're doing Civil War 2.
They even sniffed it around in a little bit in Doctor Strange, for God's sake.
They did, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fluter around that area, like. So I thought it was really, really good. One thing I loved when they hadn't given Layla a superhero name and people were calling her Hippo Bird Knight.
Hippo Bird Knight, yeah.
I thought that was brilliant. I love the costume and I love the reveal. I love that little look on her face that she was there like, there's something on my back. There's just this moment where she's like, and then she does the flick.
Metal wings.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait till you meet Falcon and you tell him his wings are crap.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be interesting as well.
Yeah. For my regular, like, here's a little comic book fact thing. They did give that character a name.
Yeah.
It's Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah. Which is
it's really hard to say.
Scarlet Scarab.
It's really awkward two words.
Scarlet Scarab.
And in the comics, it's nothing to do with that character, Layla, but they do share behavior because it was an old Thor villain who was obsessed with getting Egyptian stuff back to Egypt, Egyptian artifacts. So that's the only real shared DNA
Continuity.
between.
Did any of you notice in the very end of the episode, Khonshu is wearing Steven's suit?
Yeah.
So because it looks so good on them.
But they're in. I think that's is it the Shalvey run? I mean, I can't remember. Right? One of the very famous Moon Knight runs in the first issue of it. Khonshu sitting in that. Limo.
in the limo, because he's like, when Mark is all the rich, whatever the fuck.
Because Mark's actually rich.
Yeah, he's rich in that thing. And we're totally brushing past, and then I'm kind of like, maybe Jake took the money.
He did.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, but he's a taxi driver, so that's why it was cool that Jake was the limo driver. Because that's his thing.
That's his shtick.
Yeah. I hope that there's loads of people who are like, Jake's been in this before, not just the times that Mark and Stephen blank out. People think that in the hospital.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm screaming at you.
Yeah, and I think that's great, and I hope they never tell us which parts are Jake. I hope they leave it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's like that thing where, when they move away in a horror, and you just hear a noise, like your brain will do something far cooler than anything you can see.
You'll fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah. So I hope they never explain where Jake is and where he isn't, and we're all like, Dark Side of the Moon syncs with the Yellow Brick Road,
right?
Like figuring it out for ourselves. Like, that's great. Overall, it's just great. It was brilliant. I enjoyed the entire series. It didn't really have a down episode.
It didn't know. It was constantly good.
It was constant, yeah.
This kid who was majorly into Egypt when he was young really likes this show.
Yeah. That was one thing I wanted. Another thing that just on my trek across the internet about it. The director, the showrunner is Egyptian, right? And he took real exception with Wonder Woman 84's portrayal of Egypt and her crappy winged armor. So
good.
it's like this is a bit of a to Wonder Woman 84.
I can do this better. I'm really starting to feel like there's a huge all-female movie coming out at some point.
Yeah, well, what's the A-Force? Remember the all-female? Yeah, there's
I know,
all-female.
I know they're doing the Marvels soon, but I have a feeling that there's going to be one because there's so many characters now that I'd really like to meet.
Yeah.
It's going to be inevitable from what's going to be coming up after next year or whatever the hell at this point.
Yeah. Well, Layla and Taweret are such a nice pairing. There's mileage there. Even when she gets that like 30-second scene where she's playing Taweret talking to Layla, that's awesome. That was great crack.
Yes, it's been like every time she's walking past and all the dead soldiers like, wait, everyone's like, ah. It's like, I've been there before. Serious Night Out in Fibers.
I left this show as excited for her future as Moon Knight's future.
Same, absolutely same.
Seeing as she's basically been constructed from scratch, that's great. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
She was a good character, and she got cool powers, and she has a cool backstory. Everything about her is just great.
Yeah.
More, please. Yeah.
More, please.
That's me anyway. Think you're up.
Loved it. Loved every part of it. I was very, I was so happy when the man turned around to me and goes, so what exactly has happened? And I was like, exactly. That's when I stood up and went, yes, that's exactly what I want to hear. Because from what I was following in the in and outs of the whole situation, I felt like I could follow it a little bit, especially when Jake was appearing, because it was the nose. It was the dent of the nose every time we seen Jake on screen. And I felt like I always saw the dent of the nose because Mark had this more perfect American handsomeness, blah, 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 persona feeling off him. Then you had the British kind of like introvert or whatever, and all those facial expressions that they each had, and I just could not escape it. So even by the end of it, and figuring out, are we still in the asylum? Are we not? Were we in the asylum the whole time? And I just turned around to the man and I was like, this is my idea. It was Khonshu all along. He was Harrow's first avatar. He tried to break him and he mentally broke, and that's when obviously our other woman came in. I was like, then he went fishing off for another avatar that he knew, oh, this guy is definitely broken. He already has a split personality. Brings these guys off to the void or whatever the hell it is, and possibly even into the real world as well. But I really do feel Khonshu was behind it all the way down, because his whole mission was to control Mark, or Jake at this point, or have that control, because he lost two people. You know what I mean? So he had to have known Jake the whole time, and he acted like he didn't know what else was happening. You know what I mean? So it had to be, like, it had to be
knew
a
about Jake the
ruse,
entire time.
complete ruse all along, just to get control of Mark, regardless.
If Khonshu is real, then he definitely knew about Jake all along.
And like all the people are telling him how much of a liar he is, and like some of this shit, it makes sense. Like all the gods were talking about how he carries on, how he manipulates his avatars, and I was like, this makes perfect fucking sense. Like, it does. It makes all the sense in the world that he would look for someone, and the fact is he's trying to kill off one of these other people as well. How else are you going to kill a god? Make sure they're in their avatar. What happens? Kill them off that way. So how else he was going to get the avatar into Harold to kill off his enemy? You know? It was great. Through and through, I was hooked, and I like the fact that I kept us guessing at the end, and the fact is that reaction came out of the man. I was like, yes. This is exactly the type of tin hat theories I want rocking right now for these kind of stories, because it felt like with WandaVision, it was great and all, don't get me wrong, but out the gate, it was so confusing of what we were watching. Whereas when we're watching Stevie trying to figure out Stevie's mad nightmares, and he's waking up in his bed and he's like, maybe I have a sleep disorder. We didn't get that. We didn't get Wanda going like, maybe I'm going through grief. Oh, is that why the TV's there? You know, we only got a little
of each other.
Yeah, it was very opposite.
Got more difficult to understand as it went on, and WandaVision got less.
Yeah. I'm more happy to be confused at the end for sticking out the confusion to keep it going, because it's like conspiracy theories. You want to know more, you want to know more, you want to know more. You know, is that feeding? Whereas if we're just told like this is a conspiracy, but now we've solved it, that's the story ended. But if you start off with the whole like, this is vague and let's just keep, you know, digging away at this dirt just to keep going. Maybe there is more gold. Let's just, oh well, there's something shiny here. Let's just keep going. And that's what I like about when it comes to storytelling. I want something to be able, not just push you forward, but drive you forward, you know? Trying to find out this information. You want to be just like on that point. Whereas, like I said, with WandaVision, we are outsiders going like, what is going on? Like, this is not really how TV should be introduced to us. Like, in every first episode of something, we're not introduced to this is just wild and happening right now. It has to have some kind of steps into why we're here in the first place, or how we got there, or where we're going to. Not something to drag someone along, but to feed them along that they want to be fed.
It does feel like it definitely feels like Moon Knight's getting the season 2.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. I don't for a second believe this. Oh no, we are only doing 6 episodes, and Oscar's never come back. BS. It's
bollocks.
I know. Some Marvel shows you can tell are like meant to be one and done, but like Loki and this in particular, there were the two that's like, well, these need another season.
No, yeah, clearly, and that what if? Because like I said, there's so many things
we
that are
need to
just
get
open.
the 3-way fight in their mind between the 3 of them in all different Moon Knight outfits.
Yeah.
We have to see Jake's Moon Knight outfit.
That's money left on the table.
Well, and that we're talking about like all the other aspects of the crossover with like Blade, and then who else? About Black Knight as well.
I wonder did we see Avatar?
Possibly goes for it.
I wonder did we see for the other gods?
You cracked up there. You want to see the other gods?
Oh, sorry. I wonder, do we see Avatar armor for the other Egyptian gods?
Oh, okay.
Would it be a case that season 2 ends with Layla and the other Egyptian god avatars having to fight Jake?
Maybe. Or they free up the other lads that are still caught up in stone.
Or we might see them fighting Gore in Love and Thunder.
Or that. There's so many things open.
Enemy to get their money back from Dracula.
You know, there is actually a panel where Luke Cage goes to Latveria to get his money back from Doom.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. There is like, it's not edited. That's a real panel. Luke Cage is there like, I did a job for you. Give me my money. Money. It's a Doctor Doom.
I love some of that old Luke Cage stuff. He was a cool guy.
But all in all, that's my theory. It was all in his broken mind.
I think Moon Knight is excellent.
Oh yeah, how many patties would you give out? 7 patties? 7 out of 7 patties?
I would give this 92%.
92% of a patty. Okay.
I give it 6.42 patties out of 7.
Oh, that's a very good score, actually. The researcher said that's pretty much what's on the popcorn and the bows. Yeah. Nearly same. I give it 6 out of 7 patties. Maybe a Joker. Maybe. And if you don't know the joke by now, you haven't been here long enough.
Our entire rating
but-
system means absolutely nothing.
It
I
doesn't matter.
love the fact that we just randomly busted.
Plus out random ratings, yeah. 92%
Yeah.
Aran
12 out of
Islands.
4.
Well, but of
Yeah,
course.
just random things.
Yeah.
4 umbrellas out of 3 stands. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of things we thought about the next movie ended up being totally wrong. And we just got a Sam Raimi movie, and I think it's pretty good.
Tell us more about the Sam Raimi movie that you enjoyed.
This is the second solo movie of the character Stephen Strange.
Didn't feel like a solo movie.
Some
Felt
might
like
call him Doctor Strange.
didn't feel like a solo movie. Felt like a collab with Wanda.
Yeah,
It really
it
did.
is.
Yeah.
This is WandaVision 2 featuring Doctor Strange.
Fifth bonus material. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much. I love the fact that there was a lot of incorporation of that horror suspense into it, and it was always going forward. It was always pushing. There was always a chase.
Breakneck pace.
It was a
Yeah.
chase, and I like
Absolutely.
it. I like the fact that it was a race against time and chasing and looking at alternatives that
very
have been
beginning.
tried, like things that we've already tried that this Doctor Strange is just now figuring out throughout the movie. You know what I mean? Like you're running out of options, and that's why yeah, so many patties for this movie. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Like this film was like that from the very beginning. It was like starts off with
Strong,
that first scene where it's like, okay, I'm gonna kill you now and take your powers.
and it was all in
Like,
Spanish.
what?
And I got
What
really
is
confused because I had Dutch on my screen. You have to understand, I'm not in an English-speaking country, so I was like, "What's going on?" Like, here's Bombinos. So I was like, "That, I got that." Like,
What did they
Yeah.
speak in Spanish?
it was Spanish
I
at the
love-
start.
I
Oh,
love-
look at him
I think
confused.
I'm so used to.
And you seen
I
it
think
twice.
I
And you
think
seen
I'm
it
so
twice.
used to watching. I think I'm so used to watching subtitles. I've been watching One Piece for the past month, but I didn't even realize it wasn't. That was a different language.
I'm sorry for ruining that for you.
I swear to God, I'm like,
Yeah, it was
No.
interesting because that's what I was like, "Oh, great, I'm gonna have to
she
figure out."
tries to talk Spanish to him afterwards, and I'm like,
Yeah, and then he didn't understand, and then Wong was all like, you know,
Yeah, this is the
Oh,
crap
no.
Doctor Strange. Like,
yeah. But the good Doctor Strange that won't kill children.
yeah, thank God.
That's the big difference. He
Which is
doesn't
well,
talk Spanish, but he also won't murder
hold
children.
on, wait a second, wait a second. He did say it was between the time zone, you and the kid. I would no problem let the two of you die just for the time zone because the universe. So kind of in a word.
He
wouldn't
said that
do-
until he had to kill the kid and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Endgame and Infinity War. He wanted to kill
Like,
up
that's-
here.
He said that up until
He
the
was still
point
a
where it was
kid.
like
Same
kill the
age.
kid and save the world, and he couldn't do it.
Same age.
if he didn't.
14
It's really
million.
weird.
Think about it.
So, I think we all felt this was going to be the thing that just like the new stage of what Marvel was going to be, and it didn't really at all. Or
It
am I
was.
just-
It didn't feel very Marvel. It felt very Sam Raimi's, and I will say this because I absolutely love Bruce Campbell in a lot of stuff. Okay, and of course we all know Evil Dead, and I love Evil Dead. Love my boomstick. You know, like it was just. I knew it was a Sam Raimi's movie, even though we all knew it was. But you could really feel the horror aspect of it, and that's what really this is definitely stands on its own amongst the Marvel
this
movies.
is way more Evil Dead than it is Spider-Man.
It's that's why I like the horror of it, and I'm glad that they
Yeah.
kind of took that direction because the action horror it balanced out nicely. I thought, because considering it was
Wanda being an
PG-13.
unstoppable force horror villain was really good, and really
Yeah.
cool. That Black Bolt death, like I was thinking about that for
Oh,
days. That was
dude, it hurt.
unsettling.
I couldn't. Yeah, by the way, spoilers. We're talking about death scenes. I couldn't. That and the whole Professor X thing just couldn't shift it.
Oh, the Prof X one hurt. I don't know
I can't
how
e-
every time I see that character die, it actually gets more savage. And
Yeah, I don't know why they blew him up in one mutant one, if I remember right. One of the X-Men 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Final
3.
Stand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blew him
But,
up
like,
in the dust.
Yeah, when he dies as an old vulnerable guy in Logan, it's like 100 times more. Like,
And he gets stabbed in the chest, but no, this time you
Yeah.
go up and rip the guy's jaw. Like, she doesn't even break his neck. She rips his jaw and head off. I had to go onto YouTube to find it. I need to be sure that I see a head torn off or a neck break.
And like this wasn't like 90s X-Men movie Xavier. This was 90s cartoon Xavier.
do you know what? Actually, this is a point that I remember when I was watching it that I really wanted to bring up about that character, right? That is the best kind of Silver Age Xavier we've seen in live action, right? Because they really make a point of him going, this person has made a mistake.
And they play
Everyone
the
makes
music.
mistakes. Yeah, they play the music. This person has made a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. Best people are people who've made mistakes and recover from them. Because this is the character who took Rogue in, and this is the character who forgives everyone, forgives Magneto. That's his whole thing.
This is
you
it.
know?
And he did say in Days of Future Past as well.
Yeah, but like in 2 minutes they hit the good side because this character's the dark side too. But in 2 minutes they really nailed the good side of Professor
Yeah,
X.
but it didn't help that they threw in the music,
Yeah,
and I was like,
And did you? I don't know if anyone noticed in the credits. I specifically tried to see what they referred to that as, and they called it X-Men '97 theme. Is the name of that?
Shut
So that's the theme from the new
up.
TV. That's specifically the new TV show they're doing. That's the theme tune.
Oh my god, it's so good. So are they not going to have Professor X now when we launch that, or like?
No, I'm
this is
thinking
from a
that's
random reality.
I think that's the end of that cartoon X-Men universe.
Yeah.
Like not the end, but the big blow up. This is where Xavier dies in that universe.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
I
Yeah, I can.
Because it is. It's the big yellow mask chair thing.
Oh well. I nearly went on a bit of a rant about this on Twitter, but I didn't because it would have been spoiling people. That's from the comics. The cartoons
I know
just
it
nicked
is.
it from the comics, from the Jim Lee
but
run. Like,
since then, it hasn't really been used as much.
yeah, that's because it would look really silly now.
It-
Because
yeah.
it looked
And
futuristic in the
it-
90s.
It looked even interesting when they tried to put that onto the screen. That whole yellow chair, like that yellow Corvette look.
It's like it's
Will
from
we
the Star
talk
Wars
about-
prequel.
It looked like a very weird jet ski.
It does look terrible, but I love it.
I was okay
Will we
with it
talk
too.
about the
But he
big-
looked really, really small in the chair and fragile. That's the like me in this chair. Like that's what it felt like with it.
He's 88, to be fair
He's
to
an old
him.
man.
At least they're gonna scale down to make him look bigger and taller. Like I don't know.
I wonder do they have do they have his measurements from back in like the 90s movies? Just use them as like.
Just make him taller in the chair. That's all. A little bit higher in chair instead of like this frail little outfit.
It's cool seeing him again, but it's probably the last time we'll see him.
Probably the last time we'll see him. Maybe we'll have to see how everything else got on. What do you think of the? Okay, so let's go for the
big
kills.
stretchy elephant in the office.
Oh my god.
We saw him stretch. Remember, everyone's there like, I don't even want to see anyone stretch.
I love the fact that
I
Wanda
know.
turned our lovely Reed Richards into essentially spaghetti, and then as she went up towards his head popped like a balloon.
Yeah.
Which was like, I was sitting there going like, how are they getting away with this as PG-13?
Yeah, we had this discussion.
blood.
There's no blood.
But his head
the
popped
deaths
like a
are
balloon.
flooded.
Yeah, the deaths were
I-
awful, but there was no blood.
Yeah, the one that really got me was Captain Carter, and you don't see it at all. You just know that.
We
shield
filled in
was
the
split
blanks.
half.
Yeah.
Again, it's filling in the blanks. Like your mind is so much worse. You just see her kind of go after the shield
And then
goes flying at her.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so where's her? Like, I would have liked to heard. I know it sounds very graphic. Like, she hits the ground, we see her camera, but also see her feet going the other way. That would have been. That would have been extra cool. Like, no blood, just her feet.
Yeah, I would bet Raimi was trying to get that, and that was the thing that they went, no, Sam. No.
Please, I'm half tempted
No,
to ask him
Sam.
this. Dear Sam, it's been a couple of months after this, but I need to ask.
Were the legs meant to go the other way?
Was the legs meant to go the other way? Were we meant to see her legs in this scene? Because it would have been fucking dope as shit.
But like,
You're sure.
it was around that time when the Illuminati were getting absolutely messed up by Wanda that I was thinking, this is just a Sam Raimi horror film. He has managed to make a PG-13 horror film, and it rocks.
With
This
no
is
blood.
So much fun.
Just psychological warfare. Just let your mind like go into this is getting intense, and then just barely switching it away. Like like that Captain
actually-
Marvel was perfect. Like for example,
I went to see this with my fellow 40s-ish nerd who grew up with Sam Raimi as well. Like, and the bit with the water, where Wanda is like basically the witch through the water. Yeah.
Oh
From-
my
and it's
god!
from
Like the
Evil Dead,
reflections, just the literal like just pulling. And that was so Evil Dead in a way, right? And I was trying to think of another movie that actually did that, the whole mirror thing. Or pulling people into the mirror.
He got to turn him into a zombie version of himself.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally Sam Raimi's like, what can I get away with? And they're like, we'll tell you when
And-
to stop.
the bit where he turns the screaming souls of the damned into Doctor Strange's cloak on a zombie on a deadly
And
Doctor
for
Strange.
lives. For lives, this fecker across the mountains. It was great. And the fact that he had a ponytail, and he complained about the ponytail too.
And there's this bit where he's given this heartfelt speech, and his jaw's nearly fallen off.
And his
It's just
arm is half burnt,
his
gone, with the
arm is half
skeleton.
burned off. Be the woman you
I
should be.
I know. It's like, alright, you smoked way too many.
Yeah, mess her up, America. Like
I remember. Percy, where's me smokes, Percy? I tell you, sorry, Percy. Come here, Percy. It's
God, I
disgusting.
love this. That film was a lot of
It was a lot of everything, and I enjoyed it. I loved the questioning nature of Wong throughout it. I loved the fact that the Mordo that we were introduced to was called Carl. Like this stuff was just like little things that were, and I really loved about Doctor Strange is that kind of wit, that kind of like dossing around, kind of a little bit of condescending, a little bit of fucking like taking the piss. He's
a
Nailed
bit
it.
older and a bit more grumpy than your average superhero.
Exactly.
And that works for me. Right
And
there.
it works, and it works so well, especially when he's talking about, oh yes, hey brother, he's like, brother, like straight off the bat, you knew something was up. Like anything.
I love, one of the things I liked about this film is they've made it very clear that Mordo has been like a villain to Strange in the bits that we haven't seen.
Yeah,
And
he's so
that's
like
the
whoa when he sees him.
That's
like,
the first time I think the MCU has like hinted at superheroing that has happened not on screen.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in this, because when you see him at first, he's there like no one knew who Doctor Strange was at the end of Endgame, which I think is the last time. No, it's not the last time because he was in Spider-Man, obviously. But like, there's been no indication he's like
Infinite
really
War.
out like Captain America or Iron Man. Like, and suddenly everyone's there like, yeah, here's everyone knows it's Doctor Strange. Here he comes with all his superhero powers. That was not how we left that character.
No.
Yeah.
Like, so there's definitely loads of stuff that's happened
He's
between.
been superheroing.
Well, I
As
want to
far
know
as I
what's
know,
going to happen
it's a new
with the
thing.
Wanda that was being puppeteered. Like, are the remaining rest of like the Richards, for example, right? See, Richards going to be pissed knowing that fact that Witch like sliced her husband into spaghetti, and even though it wasn't even her. How's that? Are they gonna
see
like?
that
Are they gonna
universe
look
again.
at like who the true enemy was? We thought it was Doctor Strange, but maybe the real enemy's you, Adrian. Like how else? How else are we gonna extend this so-called 7-year contract that Olsen has?
We're getting into the really nerdy part of this discussion about this film now, which is like we're obviously leading towards some form of Secret Wars now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They mentioned the word incursions like 8 times in this.
Oh my god, yeah.
You couple that with all the Kang stuff that's going on, like they mentioned a multiversal war, and that's the incursions.
You
get-
strayed
yeah,
off your path.
Yeah. So, like, I think if you look on Twitter, like, Secret Wars has been basically trending constantly since Multiverse of Madness has come out. Everyone has already decided it's coming. It is quite a different story to what people think it is, because in the end it just comes down to Doctor Doom and Reed Richards arguing with each other pretty much at the end of it. So but there is a...
I'm so sick of people flying in the air and shooting lights at each other. If they solve it with an argument, I'll be delighted.
Yeah, I don't think they will. It'll be a big superhero fight.
Have to be a big CGI fight. They have a formula right now. I see it all the time with these movies.
Are we keeping John Krasinski?
We are keeping John Krasinski because he's actually being looked towards being the director of Fantastic Four after the last director dropped out.
That's the rumor.
And we may not actually get your one, Emily. What's her face? We might actually get what's her name? Bryce Howard. What's her name? Red hair. Yeah, might be getting her as Sue Storm. That's what the rumor is, apparently. Look at him getting onto his Google machine. We're live, goddammit.
I hadn't seen this. I just want to see. I think it should be Emily Blunt. I think they're great together.
Oh, well, you never know, like. So.
There was a tiny moment when Reed said, "I am in the Fantastic Four," and just at the sentence, you know how he refers to them as being like, "Aren't you Beatles?" He says, "Weren't you big in the '60s?" And for a second, I thought he was like, that old rumor about the Fantastic Four film being set in the '60s is actually happening, and then I went, oh no. It's just a
kind of like, because it's his shtick. He knows all about the music from like all these different eras and doing the surgery. And he's like, oh, I've never seen you chart.
You brought up something I really wanted to talk about, right?
Go on.
I've seen a few Harry Potter films in my time. Not all of them, but a few of them. And whenever they want to show a magic fight, it's just two people holding sticks and basically a giant lightsaber coming out of it. And they go, at each other, and the beams go like this. The way they showed magic fights in this film, Sam Raimi, he's just like, everyone looks different. Like the bit and the music fight, you know, where
the music fight, it reminded me of Fantasia.
One of my favorite things of any Marvel movie so far is that music fight.
So cool and
very
different.
good.
Like, loved it.
It was very Fantasia. It was so Fantasia. It was not even funny, but it was beautifully coordinated. Way better than
that. And even like earlier in the film, what actually started me thinking like that, there's a bit where I can't even remember what exactly was going on, but Strange just summons a big pair of demon hands.
Yeah.
Instead of like shooting a laser beam, he summons a big pair of demon hands that does his fighting for him. And that was like, we've never seen anything like that in a Marvel film or series before. It was really different. And
very Green Lantern-esque, if you ask me.
My mate was like, oh, Doctor Strange just fights like Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, and he probably should, like.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I like it more than Moon Knight, but I really like this film.
You've seen it twice, for God's sake, and forgot they were speaking Spanish at the start.
I didn't see it twice.
You said you saw it twice.
No, I said it's on the very first showing.
Oh, I didn't see it
twice.
I
said I was in the cinema twice.
Oh, then that makes sense. I was like, Jesus, you must really like this movie.
No, I went to see what he called.
Now the joke's dead now. No.
Yeah. Sorry.
Now, all in all, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I just don't understand how the hell he got away with a PG-13, but I'm okay with it because I enjoyed it and everyone else in the cinema really enjoyed it. And I don't know what's going to happen next with this whole Ant-Man situation, I guess, and Kang and season 2 of What If, like.
That's the next thing. So in my head when I went to this film, I was like, by the end of this, I'll know like the exact path things are going to take.
You're leading into my only problem with this film, which isn't really the film's problem itself. The film as a standalone film is great, but I am starting to get a bit tired of we're opening all these plot lines. We're not closing anything.
We're not closing them, yeah. It's becoming it is starting to become a problem. So we have the Young Avengers, we have the Dark Avengers, or the Secret Avengers, or whatever, or the Thunderbolts. And then Midnight Suns, maybe.
Kang, Midnight Sun stuff. We have Kang. We have the Eternals. Do you know what I mean? The Multiverse.
What was Quicksilver?
Stuff. Yeah, what was Quicksilver? Like, that's another one.
There's a rumor about who's going to be Quicksilver as well. Can't remember
This is a segue into the thing that I mentioned earlier that we should show and have a talk about.
Oh my god, let's talk about it.
The timeline.
The
Yeah,
timeline.
the timeline. Yeah. So, like, if you look at it this way, I'll bring it up here and have a look at it. So
I already have my sheet ready.
yeah. Okay. So the original timeline, if you look at it, how it was supposed to come out, it's more graceful, I'd say. So you start with Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
And that introduces the Countessa, who you see immediately in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
Yeah.
you get her recruiting two people. That drops off then you get Eternals,
Yeah.
which leads into Shang-Chi. And in Shang-Chi, it's really, really, really clear that the tech that makes up the 10 rings is Eternals tech. It looks exactly
Yeah.
like it. And
Yeah.
they go out of their way to say this is ancient, right?
But it's not from any reading that we have, so that's why I agree.
it's-
In Turtles
it's-
situation.
Yeah, so these two are kind of linked.
Yeah.
Plus, you're also starting to get into the mysticism stuff in Shang-Chi, which leads into WandaVision, right? So in WandaVision, then you get Ralph Bohner, right? So it's at this point we start going, oh, there's something weird going on here. And then you're straight into Multiverse of Madness. So that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
You're not having Ralph Bohner. You're not having a
Scenario.
boner hanging over 10 films.
Don't worry, I'll get into the actual proper line
Yeah,
or
okay.
line that we actually
Yeah.
got. But go on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but then straight after Multiverse of Madness, you go into Loki, which explains why the multiverse is breaking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we get educated through Miss Minutes.
Yeah. So which explains everything we just watched, and then you
And
go
then
into
you meet
what
Kang
if.
at the end.
Yeah, and then you get Kang at the end, which is like kind of, so we'd only be getting Kang like now, really. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Then to
Which
get
would
an
make more
idea,
sense. Yeah.
what if?
And then, what if, which is all about multiverse stuff, which makes way more sense after you've done Loki and Multiverse of Madness.
And that would make more sense because it gives us in each episode a taste of what situation if changed. So
Yeah,
Loki
yeah,
is
yeah.
giving us like, okay, we're going to give an introduction of how this is going to work, and then they give us a taste. So yeah,
The Multiverse of Madness showed us Captain Carter, and we're like, she gets killed off pretty quickly, and then what if happens? And you're like, this is what this character could have been.
yeah, exactly. That would make so much more sense. Go on, Brian.
Then that kind of theory kind of breaks down a little because Hawkeye is the sequel to
Hawkeye's a
Falcon.
pack cleanser.
Yeah.
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 And then we have
Yeah.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Or which we can't really, like, who knows what's going to be.
I have a theory about Thor, Love and Thunder. What if we're getting variants? What if Natalie Portman's a variant?
Could be.
You know what I mean? That would
I have
make
a
sense
theory.
if the timeline was to be. Now, again, this timeline that we're showing on screen is the proper timeline of what everything was supposed to be released in, if we didn't have any COVID or any crap like that going on. That was the way it was going to be. But instead, we got this mismatch of everything else. So that would make more sense in the storytelling timeline continuity.
It probably has big ramifications considering the trailers are showing nothing.
Yeah. You would think.
Also, I have a theory about Thor. I think I'm going to really, really, really like it.
I have that theory too. It's like my TD kill.
I'll watch anything that man's in.
Again, we're eating well. Like
This is
Yeah.
Actually,
exactly it.
that's
But,
another
like-
thing with that timeline, right? Because at the very start of it, right, it's Black Widow and it's Falcon, which are both about the old characters are out, we're building new ones.
Yep.
And this
Yeah.
is coming off the back of the second Spider-Man film, which is also about like they're all it's this era of Marvel stuff is dealing with the fact that the old guys aren't here anymore. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's,
And then
then
the introduction of
Eternal
new
happens.
things, and
yeah,
then
with
then-
Eternals and blah, blah, blah.
And
Conditioning.
then
Yeah,
Shang-Chi happens, and
Yeah.
we get the replacement for Iron Fist.
Yeah. It's just the gradual slide into the new set of characters.
And then, WandaVision brings us the kids that will inevitably be incredibly important characters.
So- what was the main thing in Falcon and Winter Soldier? Androids, aliens, and wizards.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
have a joke. Yeah, androids, aliens, and wizards. Yeah.
So if you look at
Wizards.
if
And
you
they
have
are-
a look at this
That's
timeline
what
here,
yeah, the wizards start showing up like 3 series or films later.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
there's
talking
also
about. Like,
yeah.
can
There's
I just
also
point
androids in
out?
this movie.
That's why I'm pointing out to you. I was like, are we not seeing what I'm seeing right now?
Yeah. That's
But-
clearly that was supposed
Well,
to be a reference, like, you know.
What I was
Yeah.
going to say as well,
And it makes sense because they're
Doctor
at the start of it.
Strange, Doctor Strange, Loki, Hawkeye, and Thor all introduce female counterparts to the heroes.
Mhm.
And that sort of, I think, in a row. I think that's also going to be a really important aspect of it. Natalie Portman looks amazing, by the way.
Oh, just hench, like.
She looks like she could kick the shit out of people.
Fucking deadly. So badass as fuck.
Have you seen the one where there's an image from the set? I don't think she's actually flexing, but she looks like she's doing the Shia LaBeouf, like, you know,
Yeah.
thing. Like, yeah, it looks amazing. To be honest with you, she looks deadly.
She looks amazing. And I love the fact that her hair was a lot longer because I'd like to think, like, if she was caught in this kind of time tunnel, coming out of a time or frozen or whatever the timeline may be for her, her hair is going to be much longer. As in, like, she had time to sit with stuff, let her hair grow. It wasn't important to get her hair cut, you know what I mean?
Also, so Guardians 3 has just wrapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drax wrote his like goodbye letter, so maybe he's gone.
Yeah. I
Right,
thought
he's
they're going to
the-
kill off
they're the
Rocket
same
at this
person.
stage. So, that's
Well,
my theory.
They won't. Bradley Cooper seems to like what he's doing, and it's fairly easy for him to do voice acting for it.
But going back...
I see Rocket surviving because like it's not difficult. It's just a CGI character.
Oh yeah, of course. Like but to go on
Seeing-
to what we're
seeing-
talking about.
Seeing the effort Batista has to go through to get into Drax makeup every day, I'm like, I can understand why this is the last
Well,
one.
it's him and it's the working out as well. Like you got to think of it this way: these lads. Like I don't know how Chris
Oh, he's
Hemsworth's going to be
insane
able
shape.
to keep going in the amount of shape they're on because they're looking for a
And he's-
specific look. And these
Yeah,
fellas
and
are
he's-
getting older. Look at Hugh Jackman, for God's sake. You couldn't jump into Wolverine and do all the stunts all over again.
That's why they give him a fat movie.
His t-shirt on.
Like it's
And it
just,
wouldn't be a problem.
it's just, yeah. Well, that would work. Yeah, fair enough. Like, but at the end of the day, like, you're gonna end up seeing like a rendering of a PlayStation game, CGI wise. Do you really want that? I like my coordination. I like my choreography. I like it. You know what I mean? I like that stuff. It really does feel more immersed. It feels more true to what the character or storyteller is telling me. You can throw CGI any fucking where, but as soon as you start putting coordination in fights and you're trying to get longevity out of one character, it gets a little bit desperate for me.
Now, in specific though, Old Man Logan is a thing, and Hugh Jackman deserves to have
That's fine.
a moment in the sun.
He is
within
his
the
own
MCU.
entity.
Yeah.
He is his own entity.
In specific though, I feel that, you know, like he deserves to flip off. He actually deserved to flip off Iron Man. We can't have that now.
Yeah.
You know, I would have loved that moment where it's just to tell Tony Stark just,
Call him Shellhead.
yeah,
But that's it.
yeah. But
I want to ask you about. I want to ask you more about Secret War. I haven't read that new Secret War.
okay.
Is that the story where Thor gets worthy of his hammer?
No, well, it might, but so Secret Wars, what actually happens in it is it's the
Is it
end.
the battle planets?
It's
Yeah,
Battle
the
Planet.
battle planet thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Battle
the,
World.
Battle
the
World,
final. The final incursion happens. Like basically, the multiverse has collapsed to the point where there's only two left.
Yeah.
And it's Ultimate Marvel versus Marvel, basically.
Okay.
And
no.
in the end, they
Everything
end up
collapses. Yeah.
collapsing into each other, and Doom is basically the hierarchy of
Yeah.
Battle World.
I
And-
can't remember the specifics. Doom either gets a cosmic cube or he gets the
He-
Infinity Gauntlet or something.
It's something
And
like that, and
yeah, out
basically he's able to be the most powerful person.
Yeah, out of pure will, he forms Battle World,
Yeah.
which is made up of whatever's left from
Oh,
all of the reality.
It was something to do with like the last collapse or something like that, and there was like no other choice that he
Yeah,
had to
it's the only-
be this number one fella.
Yeah.
I can't
So
remember, but it's a good read.
it's a great read. There's a ship with maybe 30 Marvel characters that escapes
Yeah.
616, and they land on Doom World. Basically, it's Doom World, and there's loads of there's cool things in Doom World, like there's a Thor core. The Thors are Green Lanterns, and they all have Mjolnirs that Doom issues them with, because he's the absolute monarch of this world. There's this assassin world where Deadpool and co all hang out. You remember a while back I mentioned the one cool MODOK story that has ever written.
Yeah.
Okay.
An assassin in Assassin Land, like yeah. And I think if I recall correctly, X-Men 92 have their own region.
They have their own region. Yeah.
Okay, this. I wasn't reading back then. That sounds like I should read it all. This sounds excellent.
You should it's good. Go on,
as a direct sequel to Multi-World of Madness, this is where you can go.
You
can
yeah.
hire Wesley Snipes, and it makes sense him showing up fighting, I don't know, Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no limits.
Give me Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Oh, God, man.
That's exactly what Mom, as I'm calling it now, because I'm saying Multiverse of Madness or Doctor Strange, whoever way. Mom. That's why Mom is able to open up all these different
he's just hit him.
Like
I
all
knew
of
that.
these.
Hit him.
Colin Farrell. Colin
Every
Farrell can be
single
Deadpool.
Every single possibility can be now tailored into this because 616 is now being identified as that's its own universe and we can really do whatever we're pulling from because it's a variant.
You've hit on something we need to talk about.
Go on.
616.
The MCU is not the 616.
It's
this
not.
reality
it's supposed
828.
to be 838.
Yeah, or 8. I don't know. Whatever. They can say they think it's 616. 616 is the comic book continuity. Always has been. And the continuity's numbers are handed out by the, and I'm sorry I have to utter this word, but the Captain Britain Corps of Otherworld. So there's like a Nexus reality, a magic Nexus reality that keeps an eye on all the realities.
But like, at the end of the day, I know you have what's written on the books, but what they're saying out there, and what Feige is backing up. I'm sorry, Brian.
It's the second time they've said 616.
Kevin has spoken.
Kevin. The first time they said it was a total liar. Lying on purpose.
Yeah. But it's now twice.
Yeah, I know, but...
Kevin.
I don't know, there's something going on.
I don't know why...
Me and my housemate had this argument on...
I don't know. But what I also feel like it's going to happen is maybe House of M is actually going to happen.
House of M could well happen.
That's
I'm talking about so many possibilities.
I can remember on this very podcast us discussing if WandaVision would directly lead into a House of M event.
Of course it did. Of course it did. They wouldn't have slapped anything onto an L bottle without opening Pandora's box for opportunities. They know better now at this point. Don't you, Kevin? Sorry.
We haven't talked about this. Elizabeth Olsen's really good.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she killed it in this film. Like,
acts her heart out.
Yeah, absolutely. She gives it her all as crazy, this like awkward movement thing. That's so good.
Oh god, yeah, it was very Conjure-esque. You know what I mean? Like this shit. Like lots of nails, lots of like, even down to her face, like facial expressions. Like again, I keep going back to this kill of Professor X. Just like this horrifying teeth, this sallow, dark, white, grey. It was good.
Just about the beginning when she's like to Doctor Strange, this is me being reasonable.
Yeah.
Like that's like genuinely unsettling the way she is.
It felt good when they were walking through. I know, acting like she had nothing to do with it. Maybe I thought it was a variant when they're walking through the field because everyone's always talking about it. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's all part of the same thing. And I was like, for a moment, maybe she doesn't know what's going on. Just maybe for a moment, she could be that person. And I was like, oh, you can get America here. You didn't tell me your name, did you? I was like, damn, girl, you almost had it. I was there with you. Redhead to redhead again. Yeah,
I see. I'm very fond of Wanda as a character, and I really thought what we were getting here was 95% of the way through the film. She turned because she couldn't resist the opportunity of seeing her kids again. That's how I thought this was going to pan out. I thought she was going to be a good guy.
Yeah.
I was completely wrong. She is an awesome villain in this film.
She's amazing in it.
Yeah. She is so scary. Nature. Yeah.
And it almost made me feel like I was watching a bit of like a Disney movie, like that typical witch trying to get to the kids and that kind of scariness. Obviously, that was kind of introduced in its own way, but it really homed it in. That scary witch is going to get us. I loved every part of it. There's
a great tweet that I saw with a picture of her from this film and Catherine Hahn saying the Darkhold does amazing makeup.
Oh my god!
They've got great eyes.
I'd like to mention Sam Raimi got the Evil Book movie.
Yeah, another Evil Book movie.
No way, really?
He lashed in a good book as well. For the
I think thinking back, like we knew the Darkhold was in this, we should have realized that this was going to be like a more of an Evil Dead than a Spider-Man.
Especially when I see him
Sam,
pop up
give Sam
pizza
Raimi the Evil Dead
balls.
movie.
Pop up
What?
pizza balls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, food
Yeah.
is free in every universe. He's like, yeah, they'll pay for that. I was like, man, I'd kill for some pizza balls right now.
Yeah, pizza balls sound awesome.
Sound
Pizza balls
good.
do look good. America Chavez, I think she could be really good.
I thought she's great in it. I really, I didn't feel like I was dealing with a new person. I felt like she was very incorporated into the whole story, especially when you see like new characters being introduced. You're kind of like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna slot in. Like, how is their air gonna carry to the next characters? But she felt very, at home with her situation, if you will. I felt very, very happy with the way she did everything in it. I thought she was great. A little bit cheesy, but it was great.
We've only got really two characters left for this young superheroes cabal that make up the champions, the defenders, the young Avengers. Like, she's in nearly all of them at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Where
I
they're
would not have
We
an
need-
Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. Ironheart.
Iron Lad.
Iron Lad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Iron Lad's just Kang, so we have seen him.
Yeah.
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 Still, but
He's just young Kang. So,
He doesn't look anything like Canon, though.
that's true. He looks like young Tony. Is
Yeah.
that ever explained?
Don't think so, but, like,
it
we're all-
does not.
I think we're all
you
trying to
need
figure
you need a separate actor for him. 'Cause He
But that-
doesn't look like Kang.
but everyone has their theories. Like Stark and Richards are all related as well. Then Kang not be related as well.
Yeah, there is like storylines that basically say Kang is a descendant of Doctor Doom. There's
Yeah.
other storylines who say Doctor Doom becomes immortal and Kang is just Doom.
Yeah.
Like, there's loads of these.
Oh,
this
we'll
Kang
have to
stuff.
wait and
There's-
see, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I love one of the funniest things if you can find an 80s team up between Kang and Doom. They're always brilliant. It's one of these things where they're working together, but both of them they're like, "I'm gonna betray this motherfucker for a second." I get.
I'm looking for any
Yeah.
any excuse to betray you.
Yeah, I hate this guy so much. He thinks he's so clever and a dictator. I'll show him. And they're just as
Joshua,
bad
I'm
as each
clever
other.
and a dictator.
Yeah,
Love it.
I
Love-
am looking
love.
forward to. I am looking forward to seeing if there's any dickhead outrage about the lesbian parents. can't
I don't
remember
think
if people
so.
have been wild about that.
I don't think so because that's part of the world anyway. Because her
I'll,
parents, she comes
I'll
from
be
an
so
all-female
happy if
planet.
people don't get mad about it.
If
But
they
do, I'm going to laugh at them.
if they do get mad about it, then they're fucking idiots. Like that's
Yeah, I'm just
because
going to
it's
laugh at them.
then they can't read, and then obviously we know what the problem is there.
I think some of them will be some. There are going to be people who get angry just that there's a Latina
Oh
called
my
America.
god.
They're also going to be mad that
you know,
they-
you know,
That's
America's a continent, not a country. I don't know if anyone
People are-
knew that.
people are also going to be angry that they're like, oh, most universe food's free, and
Yeah. I want you to be angry
Socialized
too.
food.
Socialized food. No, we need those children to starve because we have cars to buy. How dare they? Capitalism.
needed our daily dose of capitalism bad.
God, I love it. I love it. A daily dose of making yourself feel bad. You know, food is free in other universes. So like, starving for some pizza balls now.
I love
Nah.
Sam Raimi. I love that they give him like he has so much freedom in this movie. He got to like, I just like the second I was like, oh, he's just a zombie version of himself. They were just like, do whatever you want, we'll tell you.
Go
when to
for
stop.
it. Yeah. We'll let you know when you hit an R rating. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just take away the blood, take away this, psychology.
yeah, you can do.
Oh,
Yeah, you
no,
can just
did
do
well.
a dead movie with no blood, no
Yeah.
gore.
That's all you have to do is just fill in the blanks with your own mind. Like that Captain Carter death. Like, we didn't have to see the fucking thing slide through, but we all knew.
Did any of you see people on Twitter giving out about the second post-credit scene? And I'm like, if you're mad about this, you.
Oh my
Shite.
god.
Seriously.
What do you want? What more do you
Oh, what a
want?
waste! These credit scenes are meant to bring the universe forward. I'm like,
They threw in-
I left the cinema laughing.
I haven't. Listen. They threw in a trailer for the next Marvel movie that we've already seen online in one of them.
Yeah.
So for them to give you the wonderful Bruce Campbell stop hitting himself to pay homage to an ongoing joke.
Yeah, Ugh, great. I loved it. I love that. I love.
You know what I mean? Like if you're giving out about that, you clearly don't know your Sam Raimi's movies, clearly. And
Did
you
you,
cannot sit there in the cinema and tell me that shit. No way.
On that topic,
No.
was the car in it? I didn't see the car.
I think I did see the car. I can't remember where I saw the car, but I can't remember, but it was 11 a.m.
I didn't.
The car was in it. Car was definitely in it. 100% was in it. I think it was either on the bus scene. I'll Google it and find it. It was in the bus scene, or it was either during the jumps, but 100% cars in it. 100% had to be in it.
I saw a really fun interview with Sam Raimi in the past couple of weeks where they were like, so, like, do you like have to argue with to get Bruce Campbell and everything? Or like, I don't make a film
No.
unless they agree to let Bruce in it.
Yeah.
I just
Like-
look him up and I'm like, hey, you're going to whatever
You're-
place we're filming.
And he's like, sure. Because they're friends for like ever. You know what I mean? Like, forever.
Oh.
And rightly so. I love Bruce
I just
Campbell. He's
remember that
fantastic.
I just remember they got Bruce Campbell to do the voiceover for the tutorials for the PS2 Spider-Man games.
It was not PS. It was the PS2
It was
one, wasn't it?
It was the movie trilogy. All three of the movie trilogy Spider-Man games have Bruce Campbell doing the voiceover for the tutorial.
Look, I'm trying
And
to
he
look at
just
my own
berates-
collection.
He just
Yeah.
berates Spider-Man. Just
Brilliant.
calls him useless.
Well, he's Quentin
Right.
Beck. He's Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
That was the intention.
yeah,
So good.
brilliant.
So-
If Sony do that fourth Spider-Man movie, they should bring someone back and get him to do exactly that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
The
definitely. Well,
internet might explode.
Probably have
Do
to wait and
whatever
see.
you want, Sam.
Yeah. Bring
well,
him.
I want to know
Bruce can
when
be the
Loki
bad guy.
shows up again in a movie, not in a series. I want to know if he shows up and crosses paths with Thor. Like, that'd be so weird. Wouldn't it be so weird? I just want to know if that Loki's going to be in the movie part of this whole multiverse of madness with him and the TVA. Will he fall
I was
in?
looking to see if I could find.
Because
Loki
I
in the
thought he would
background
be
or some
in.
scenes.
I literally thought he'd be in Mom, but he wasn't.
Yeah, I was looking out for him in the background of scenes, thinking, there'll be a Loki cameo somewhere.
Yeah, like even if like they're going through like one of the portals and something's like breaking into 1,000 pieces, wouldn't it be interesting to see Loki like shouting at
I
like
did like that they fell through the what if dimension.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
briefly. Yeah, that was cool.
I love the. Did we paint there for a second? Yeah, you don't want to get stuck there.
Hard
hard to eat food? Yeah.
So yeah.
How many patties?
I don't know.
All the patties.
616 out of 828.
Sounds good. Okay, so that's like
600
90% ish.
Yeah.
666 out of a demon book.
I'd give it
6 Vishantis out of a
I'd give it Wanda's Kids. I'd give it Wanda's Kids. That's what I
How
would.
many Wanda's kids out of Vision? Oh, jeez.
How many visions for Wanda's kid? I give it like every vision per family, I guess, if I could. I enjoyed it very, very much. It wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, that was crap, or oh, I felt disappointed. There was cheesy moments that I felt complimented the situation, especially due with the America Chavez character, because she's young and she's like not sure, and this is all new to her, you know. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm okay with the way Wanda died, so to speak. My only question is that how she died. Does this open the door for Agatha now being
Oh,
broken
she's
out
not
for a
dead.
spell?
No way, she's
not
dead.
No, of course she never dies. I bet she like transported back over to Westview,
Of course she
released Agatha, went kind
I,
of done, fucked up. Can you help us out? She's like, yeah.
Are any of you? I'm like, how the Speed and Wiccan, Wanda's kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being
I
Tommy.
think at this stage they just should have a film start and they're there and they're superheroes and do the exact Young Avengers thing, of reveal much later that they're the kids for like the normies you don't know. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's
we
the
could
way
do
to
that.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
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 I'll see why
I
not.
hope that.
Oh,
Hulkling
one
has to be introduced. I forgot about Hulkling.
Hulkling. Yeah, he'll be in Secret Invasion probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
unlikely.
Anything that we're thinking that we're waiting on could be slipped into Secret Invasion.
One little minor continuity thing from this film. Previously, I would have argued after seeing WandaVision that the Darkhold decanonizes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Runaways because they have a different version of the Darkhold in them. But in Multiverse of Madness, they're
It's a
super
copy.
specific, to say that there are copies of the Darkhold.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a nice piece.
Yeah.
Nice piece.
Yeah.
So you've kind of recanonized Agents of Shield in other ways.
Yeah. But then again, if she destroyed one Darkhold that destroys all, even copies.
Yeah,
Plus the
but
multiverse.
these
If
are
you destroy the prime.
It's not like they went over and photocopied the thing. You know what I mean?
But their copies of that Darkhold will be destroyed when she destroys the prime Darkhold.
Exactly.
you would think so.
Yeah,
There's-
you'd hope so
there's
anyway.
surely-
If I've learned anything about how DC changes their universes, if you mess with the prime thing, everything else gets destroyed.
I'm still upset at the fact that we still haven't explained away the trailer where one was like, don't cast that spell.
Yeah, that's never been.
Someone needs to address this right now. I'm not happy.
Another thing, right, in the comics, Wanda's born on Wundagore. That's why she gets all these dark energies in the first place. She's a mutant as well,
Yeah.
but kind of that's where it seeps into her because she's born on that mountain. Did they mention her being born there at all? I don't think
No.
they did.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. And she's raised by a giant cow woman called Bova.
Yeah, she's real cool.
Yeah, I
Deadly.
love Bova. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put the other giant, I forget his name, the one who works for Strange for a while. The giant cow man.
Oh, the
And
Minotaur?
the beard. Yeah. And I was real upset they didn't put Bova in.
Ringtar?
Oh yeah, something like that. Ringtar or something like that.
Ringtar, I think it is.
I was really upset they put him in and not Bova. Because I wanted Bova, who raised Wanda.
I was okay with Ringtar in it. Yeah, only for a brief moment, but more as like a background piece and an odd background piece to slip in, you know? They always seem to
Yeah,
do
but
that in Marvel movies.
I wanted my cool nanny giant cow.
It'd be a bit weird having her kind of go there and kill the people only for her nanny to be like, Jesus. Like, it'd be weird.
Bova wouldn't kill anyone. She's
Exactly,
just-
she'd turn into a wet blanket.
Yeah.
She'd go
But
all Borg.
she tried to convince Wanda to behave. Actually, that would have been kind of cool. I raised you. I'm your mammy, and you're being a bad mammy.
Yeah.
That's what she.
No words.
Typical mammy.
So
That
with
would've been the end
that,
of
I
it.
think we'll call it an evening.
Yeah.
Alright, are we calling it an evening? Okay, then fine.
I'm out of juice.
You're out of juice,
Yeah.
so am I. I have a
Juice.
headache, I'm not gonna lie. This
If that's the
thunderstorm.
Bova, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah. We've.
So if you just want to shout yourselves out, Brian.
Brian Von Doom on Twitter. Nothing this weekend on As One Live on Twitch, but the weekend after we will be doing some Fight Man's games. I'm not sure which ones yet, but all of the Fight Man's games.
Tink.
Andy Tinkerbell, you can find me on Twitch, scream my heart out because I'm playing Outlast 2. It's going okay, I guess. But yes, you can find me there. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. Check out my latest reels and all that set out stuff. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Where can you find you, Ado? That's the way to find us.
Follow me on Twitter. It's Aiden616, but it's spelled in
Twitter.
an awkward Irish way, so it's AODHAIN.
What do you mean awkward? You mean the right way?
But it's awkward for everybody else.
Oh, I'm
MCU
sorry.
616 or Comic Book 616?
I
Just
it
want to
was
know what realm
616.
we're in.
616 is in my name because it's the MCU. It's been in every gamer tag I've ever had.
Fair enough.
And I was the first one to do it first. Whatever. But yes, okay. We will be back hopefully next week to gossip more. I think it's going to be a little bit quiet now on the
Yeah, there's nothing.
Marvel front, unless there's more
yes.
gossip about what directions we're all going to go. But we'll see what's happening in the DC universe as that unfolds very slowly but surely from the courtrooms.
Anybody want to suggest a retro review?
Oh, a retro review. Oh, I had one earlier and I was like, oh yeah, we should totally watch this. I was thinking the first X-Men movie with Hugh Jackman in it for the sake of the
I'll
nostalgia.
watch that, no
Yeah,
problem.
Winner.
Winner?
Yeah.
Virtual high five.
Yeah,
And
watch-
use in the chat too. Make sure you watch it and put in
I'll
comments
probably
below.
I'll probably watch the first two.
I won't be watching the first three.
I'll probably be
No.
watching all of it and be like, pen and paper, I knew it all along.
The
Yeah.
third one needs an episode to itself.
It does, it really
Yeah.
does. And I think that's something that we can definitely talk about.
Oh, I could bet you about that film for an entire evening, no problem.
But we'll see if you're good. Alright, we'll put that on the agenda and we'll talk about that next week. For those out there, if you haven't liked and subscribed and hit that little bell, you're breaking me heart. Make sure you do. We'd love to see and chat with you very soon. But thank you for tuning in. Teletubby, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
It is canon.
It is canon.
That was a good one.